Hey guys, so today I'm gonna be doing like a get ready with me. I feel like I haven't done a get ready with me in a hot minute, and I'm literally just gonna get straight into it. I'm using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I have made a video about this, and I will put it on I will link it down below. Okay, so there's a few things that I want to talk about that I just really want to talk about. First of all, let's just do like a quick life update. It's January 20th when I'm recording this. We're already like 3/4 of the way through January. That's crazy to me. It feels like just the other day I was in bed and I heard fireworks being let off for New Year's and people screaming Happy New Year outside my apartment block. So yeah, I was asleep on New Year's. I don't really care. And you know what, when I tell people that I was asleep on New Year's, they're like, oh my god, that's what I should have been doing. It's like, yeah, you should have. I'm gonna use the Douce palette, this Berry Mousse shade, to set my eyelid. But yeah, it feels like it was like literally just the other day all of that was happening, and here we are, 20th of January, ready to go into February. It's crazy, but hey, that's how it goes. But so my Christmas and New Year was kind of like bittersweet. Like the whole of the coming toward the end of the year it turned into a bit of a shambles because my cousin passed, and then 2 months later my grandmother passed, and she passed during the Christmas New Year period. So, and I couldn't get over to Ireland to go and be there for the funeral, flight times and all of that. It was just not working, so we couldn't get over there. So it was kind of it was nice because we were having Christmas with the kids and they enjoyed themselves, but at the same time it was a hard last few months because it was 2 passings. Oh, I'm using again the Douce palette. I'm using Creme, this shade here. But yeah, it was kind of hard. So New Year, we're just gonna try, and not that I'm into that whole New Year, New Me malarkey, but we're just gonna try and make it a little bit more of a positive situation going into 2018. So that was that. Ever since, I've just been working my booty off, looking after these kids, getting money to bring into this house. The things that everybody else does, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the only one who does these things. So, but yeah, that's what I've basically been doing. And I do have some things that I do want to do this year. Yeah, it's my birthday coming up in April, so I might give myself a little present, because I don't usually do anything for myself for my birthday. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't. I'm going to use this shade here, Crepes. I don't usually do anything for myself for my birthday, and especially as now I've got a child who had the nerve to come 2 days before my birthday. So now we have to share that time of the year together. But it is what it is. But I'm looking to give myself a little present in the form of a fat transfer. I've been saving up for this for a few months now, and I haven't made a decision on it yet. It's something I'm definitely considering it. But we'll talk about it closer to the time, and depending on whether or not I decide to actually do it, I'll probably look to do that around my birthday time if I do decide to do it. I'm gonna use this shade here. So recently there's been a lot of drama in like the beauty community as well as on YouTube. So let's get to the situation with Tarte and their new launch of foundations, the Shape Tape foundations that they came out with. There's so much outrage and so much uproar about these foundations. It's crazy. And I used to feel like let's just get on with how I personally feel about it. I mean, listen, they came out with 2 types of foundation. They came out with a matte one and a hydrating one, okay? They came out with 2 types. They didn't just come out with Shape Tape foundation. They came out with Shape Tape hydration foundation and Shape Tape matte foundation, or whatever they want to call it. Okay, they came up with 2 types in their first launch, and you're trying to tell me, or they're trying to tell me, that basically there's only 3 shades which are good enough for people of color. Excuse, you're trying to tell me that there's only 3 shades which are good enough for people of color, fam. That's what I really said, fam. Pastel Goth palette. I'm gonna use Clementine. I absolutely love Clementine. But you brought out 2 different types, but you couldn't be bothered to bring out more than 3 shades for people of color. Like, that to me is like, somebody said it best. I can't remember who it was who said it, but somebody basically said they were basically trying to let people of color know that they don't care about them. And I kind of agree, considering the fact that they've brought people of color on their trips, those vacation trips that they have. They've brought influencers of color on those trips. Okay, it comes off like you want to include people of color, but only when it suits you. And I feel like they were trying to say, well, for this particular foundation, we're not including people of color. That's how it came off to me. Like, we're not here to cater to you. But when they have these trips and they're bringing influencers of color on these trips, like they had a trip where they had like a pro palette or something like that. They had influencers of color on that trip. So we're good enough to buy your eyeshadow palettes and all of that stuff, but you don't want to deal with us when it comes to like foundation and skincare and this and that and the other. That's how that comes across to me. Like, and I'm all for brand inclusiveness and inclusivity, whatever the word is. I think both words are correct. Here's the thing on the flip side, okay? If you don't bring out a shade which is made for me, it means that you weren't thinking of me in the first place. And I'm not going to beg you to allow me to give you my money. I'm going to say that again. I'm not going to beg you to allow me to give you my money. Okay? So if they come out, I don't know if there's a shade for me. I don't know, because I haven't swatched the shades. I'm gonna leave a picture of the swatches up here somewhere. In that range, it just looks like there's 50 shades of white and 3 for people of color. Okay? Now, there are so many brands that do include people like myself and people who have deeper complexions than I do. Like, Fenty did it amazing. I can't even tell you off the top of my head how many shades they came out with on their first launch. That was crazy. And that's the thing, it's like, considering that Fenty has just literally shaken up the makeup world, don't you think that other brands would start like saying, oh, this is a thing? Okay, let's start following suit. And this isn't like, Tarte is not a start-up brand. Tarte is a well-known, well-established brand. They've been putting out makeup for years. So even though I don't work in their accounts department or anything like that, it's safe to say they're making money. And I understand that if you're gonna put out like 25 shades of foundation, it's gonna cost you money. Of course it is. But considering the amount of exposure, the amount of reach, and how established this brand is, you would expect them to be able to manage to put out X amount of shades for their customers. And they just, in my opinion, just said, no, we just don't want to really cater to you. So I saw the 2 different types of foundation as like, that was them really just taking the mickey. That we're putting out hydrating and matte. We're still not going to cater to any of the brown people. Okay. Well, I'm not going to beg you to let me give you my money. If you don't want to include me, that's fine. Because there's so many other brands, Bobbi Brown, NARS, MAC, Fenty, as I said, they cater to people of color. So I'll just take my money elsewhere. I'll take my money elsewhere. It's no biggie. I understand people need to voice their opinions and stuff and tell them that, you know what, you lot are wrong for that. But don't make too much of a big deal about it, because they'll feel it in their pocket. I'm going to use the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. I really like this primer. I just don't like the packaging for this primer. Like this, like once you get to the bottom, once you get to the end, it becomes really difficult to get the rest of it out. You got to do all of this, and it's a bit of a hassle sometimes, especially in the morning when I'm just trying to get ready and get out the door. I love the primer itself, so I will continue to buy it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna buy it regardless. But I think that they should think about the packaging. But then it's like, how much is it? £3.90? I can't really go overboard and expect the world for a primer which is £3.90. Like, it already does like so good. It's amazing. I love this primer. So I guess that's the one thing I've got to take from it. Whatever. I'm going to use, I've got this little sample of the YSL All Day foundation, which I am going to be reviewing because I've had it for about a week and a half now. So I can review it, and I think I will be reviewing it. I'm putting it up this week. I'm also going to use it with the Life Proof foundation from Sleek, because I don't think that I was colour matched 100% correctly, but I have my options. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this foundation on as well. But yeah, so people of colour, don't get too hung up about it, because you know what, just take your coin elsewhere. Just take it elsewhere. You have the ability to do that. So that's what I would strongly advise, because even though they're saying, oh yeah, but we're gonna bring out some more, it's like, listen, that money that you invested into making 2 types of foundation, yeah, you could have put that money into just making 1 type of foundation, like a matte one or a hydrating one, whichever one that they preferred. They could have used that money to just make 1 type of foundation and widen the color spectrum, but they didn't. They chose to make 2 types of foundation and limit the color selection, and thought that that was gonna fly, and fam, it didn't. So to be fair, I'm not really interested in their extended range, because I know that, you know what, you didn't include me in the first place. You didn't really want me to buy your stuff. So it's alright, you can keep it. It's fine. Keep it. Don't beg these brands to let you give them your own money. That's ridiculous. But that's enough of that. I want to talk about like the state of YouTube right now and what has been going on in YouTube land. You guys, I'm so irritated because I literally just got up to go and get like my powders and blah blah blah, and then I came back and I recorded the rest of my video. Then when I closed it out, content was gone. I'm like super annoyed. So I'm just going to recap what I did say, which was like talking about the current state of YouTube, which is, if you don't already know, like the whole Logan Paul situation happened at the beginning of this year, which was just a couple of weeks ago. And if you don't know what happened, please just go and search it. I don't really want to like talk about it here. But a few days ago, I got a notification saying that I will no longer be eligible to be part of the YouTube partnership, which will enable me to make money off of YouTube. And my response to that at the time was kind of like, oh my god, why? And it basically said you had to have 1,000 subscribers as well as 4,000 hours of watch time. And that doesn't mean that you had to have 4,000 hours of content uploaded. It means that you had to have 4,000 hours of people watching your content over the span of 12 months. And I think I had like 3,100 and something, so I don't fit either criteria. People are saying, well, Logan Paul is to blame, and there's other people saying that he's not. And in my opinion, yes, he is to blame, simply because it's only since that has happened that YouTube now want to implement this whole, you have to fit this specific requirement. They had this situation back when PewDiePie messed up, and they said that you had to have 100,000 lifetime minutes of watch time clocked up. So that didn't really affect me, but I still felt for the people that it did affect. So back to this situation, it's like, okay, it's only since Logan Paul messed up that now they want to turn around and say this, and I find that really, really irritating. You know what, I'm going to deepen up that crease a little bit. So it's kind of like they've decided that he's no longer eligible to go on YouTube Preferred, and if anyone wants to be on YouTube Preferred, or anyone that they're considering to be on YouTube Preferred, their videos have to be screened by a human being or human beings, because I'm sure it's going to be more than one person charged with that job. It's not just going to be one person who's going to be watching all of YouTube's YouTube Preferred people, videos, whatever. So there's that. So where are they going to get that money from? Considering the fact that since PewDiePie messed up and since other YouTube creators have messed up, a lot of companies have taken their ads off of YouTube, and every time something happens, more and more ads come off of YouTube. So if YouTube still have to make their bottom line, but yet they're having to now employ more people to make sure that people like Logan Paul don't keep on messing up for YouTube or messing up on YouTube and making more and more ads come off of the platform, they've got to employ people. And where's that money coming from? The current ads. But if there's less and less ads to go around, that means that YouTube aren't making as much money. So then they've got to cut some people off. People like myself who don't really matter to YouTube, because hey, we're not bringing in all the views. People like Logan Paul are bringing in all the views. I mean, he's got X amount of millions of subscribers, and even since his mess up, his following is still growing. And YouTube also said that by the end of 2018 they wanted to employ 10,000 new people to help with like the screening of YouTube videos. Like, so on top of that, where are their salaries coming from? But they didn't want to do this until Logan Paul had messed up. So no one can sit there and tell me, well, it's not because of Logan Paul that they've implemented this new thing. Yes, it is. Because if it wasn't for him, YouTube wouldn't now be taking these steps to now employ 10,000 new people, and they need to employ people to screen the YouTube Preferred and this, that and the other. It wouldn't have happened unless he had messed up. So it's kind of like a knock-on effect. Like, yes, he is one of the main reasons, so don't give me that. Sorry, just don't, okay? Now, at first, as I said, I was kind of annoyed. I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't do anything. Why am I being kicked off of the YouTube program? But at the same time, I had to say to myself, you know what? At my sub count and at my watch time hours, I'm not making no money anyway. I can't, it's not like, oh, my rent and my electricity and my this and my that is being paid off of YouTube money, because it's not. I work to get money to sustain me and my family. So even though it's a nice incentive, it's not stable and it's not enough to make me and my kids eat off of. And even before this came up, I was thinking to myself, well, I want to get a new ring light, I want to get some backdrops, I want to get a new camera, like all in due time. And this thing is not going to deter me. Me being taken off of the YouTube program is not going to deter me. I'm still going to go and get my backdrop and my ring light and my new camera again in due course, not right this minute, but when my bank account will permit it. It's not going to deter me, because I enjoy sitting in front of this camera every single weekend and shooting and editing these videos every single weekend. So whether or not they allow me to be on the program or not, I will still be here. Like, I am saying to myself, okay, so what do I do so I can now be eligible for this program? Like, do I shoot more videos so I get more watch time? Maybe I should do that. So maybe from this week I'll start doing 5 videos a week and see how that goes. See if my subscriber count goes up a little bit quicker, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna try other things so that I can get back onto the program, because I do still want to have that incentive, but it's not going to deter me where it's like, well, if I'm not getting that money every month paid into my AdSense account, then I'm not gonna do it. It's like, well, what was I here for in the first place then? Then I wasn't here out of pure intentions. So I'm not going to just come off of YouTube. Like, that doesn't make no sense to me. So I will be still here. Like, who knows, even if they turn around in a year's time and said, well, you have to have 10,000 subscribers and like 100,000 hours of watch time to be considered, and then I go back to square one, well then that's what it is. Because quite frankly, YouTube is not sustaining my life. I have to, in order for me to have a makeup channel, I have to buy makeup. I have to buy it and then review it. The YouTube money that's coming in, it's like, okay, that's a nice little incentive, but it's not enough for me to say, well, I'm making my money back, because I'm not. And then on top of that, you have to consider the fact that you have to use electricity and you have to use your Wi-Fi. Those things cost. And YouTube is not giving me enough money to make me feel like, well, I'm gaining something. So I'm not going to be too deterred by it. I'm going to try alternate options, you know, try uploading a little bit more often, whatever. I'm still going to continue to attempt to grow and be something on this platform. I'm not just going to leave. I've heard so many people saying, well, if I can't make that money, then I can't be on YouTube. It's like, but fam, what were you making in the first place? You weren't paying no car note with this money. We were probably not even paying your Wi-Fi bill with this money, you know? So even though it's like, oh, irritating, it's not the end of the world. It's not. You weren't making that much money in the first place. Trust me. So anyway, sorry about all the, like, my camera cutting off and all of that stupidness. But anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you've gotten to the end of this video, like, well done.